This is Steve Kerr, and you're listening to the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game.
What up, Steve? We'll see you later tonight at Chase Center when the Warriors host the Sacramento Kings. And, of course, the Sacramento Kings had a big-time win Saturday against the Orlando Magic. You see De'Aaron Fox? Whoo!
Fonte.
Half-court shot.
Fonte.
I was watching.
Fonte.
I was watching the league pass.
Fonte. Saturday night, me watching the Magic Kings.
Saturday afternoon.
Okay, even
2
more.
o'clock game.
Even more the reason that I will tell you no.
My guy, Paolo Banchero, 33.16 rebounds. He's a stud. He's a stud.
So explain to me how you watched every college football game.
I didn't watch every college football game. Not every play.
And the World Series and Kings Magic all simultaneously.
And end up at a Sharks game, right?
And end up at a Sharks game.
It's called the power of the iPhone. So
would you quad boxing it like you're the red zone?
So
Fonte zone.
Laptop in heavy usage. Big screen in heavy usage. NBA app in heavy usage. So I didn't watch the entire Florida State-Miami game. I didn't watch the entire LSU-Alabama game. I didn't watch the entire Clemson-Notre Dame game. You just kind of skip around and know the spots to watch. So the last 4 minutes of LSU-Bama, you lock in, boom. So it was kind of a slow game? By the way, Big Dog City happened to be at that game.
I mean, very lucky.
Big Dog City.
I think that Reardon needs to go back to those yellow helmets. That yellow helmet look with the purple by LSU, in my estimation, is maybe the coolest uniform in sports. That Saturday night uniform.
The yellow helmets with the purple R.
Yes.
Reardon, Old school,
I'm talking
late
about the
90s.
LSU ones that you see right now. Reardon used to have ones like that, and I would like to see them go back to that.
They may go back to that, now that you said it. But Big Dog City happens to be at all these great games. He's probably going to be, he was at Warriors-Pelicans Friday night.
Okay.
He's at LSU-Bama Saturday night with baby Jaylee in his hands.
Okay.
And Candace's lovely wife. And then tonight he may be at Ravens-Saints.
Wow.
I mean, talk about a trifecta. Talk about a trifecta, by the way.
Bayou Big Dog.
Bayou Big Dog. So it's not possible to watch every single game, but you try to do what you can. But Magic Kings, because obviously the Warriors are playing the Kings, so I wanted to see what the Kings would do against the Magic. It's a hell of a win for them. Shout out to Casey and D'Lo. They needed that for their soul. They needed it for their soul.
Warriors need a win for their soul, but I want to get back into the question that you asked me before we got to break, and we'll get into the Warriors. We got a lot of NFL stuff that we want to get to in about 25 minutes. Bonte, you asked me, if the Giants don't get Aaron Judge, what do they do? Do they just not spend anything? And I guess, I think the prudent thing would be you don't want to be reckless. Part of why they got in the position of overspending, it wasn't recklessness per se, but their farm stopped feeding them starting pitching, and they started to overspend in free agency to maintain status quo, to go out and get Samardzija and Cueto and this guy and that guy, Mark Melancon, for example. And then they were obviously overpaying their own to keep it together, the core, Crawford and Belt, et cetera. And I just feel like it's a slippery slope. But I also understand there's a business aspect where you cannot have empty ballparks and people not caring and you selling Dodger gear at Giants games on a Friday night because that team's more sexy and more marketable than yours.
Yeah, it's an interesting proposition because if you don't sign anybody, nobody's going to the yard.
Exactly.
That's true. That's true. And we won't be talking about the Giants in July because they'll probably be done. They cooked and be battling for fourth place. It's the nature of it. But where do you go if you don't sign Aaron Judge? Do you pivot to Correa? Does Crawford want to move to second base? What about Trey Turner? Does he want to play second base? Do you pivot to pitching? Where do you pivot to? It feels like the Giants have to get Aaron Judge. You have to get that mainstay in the middle of the lineup. You have to get that guy. And even with Aaron Judge, there are question marks about him. There are question marks. I mean, his postseason was not good whatsoever.
No.
The strikeouts are not good.
The season wore him out because he carried that team in the final 2 months of the season.
He did carry the New York Yankees.
But
There's no doubt about
that lineup was so good. I do worry a little about what he would look like in a lineup with very little protection.
Yeah, and could the Giants sign other guys outside of Aaron Judge? Is Aaron Judge enough to attract other free agents? That's my biggest question.
It's a totally fair one. After you've watched now the Philadelphia Phillies, if we look at team building and how to build the team, the Phillies are very dramatically different than, let's say, the Astros, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Astros, I told you, 16 homegrown players. And they've pick and choose their spots. They've acquired guys over the years, but
Right.
the core of their guys are from their system. They made a trade in 2016 to go get Yordan Alvarez, but they developed him. I mean, it was a throwaway deal for the Dodgers. Obviously, Tucker came from their system. Pena, who you referenced, came from their system.
Yeah.
Altuve's probably... I think he's the gold standard at second base in the last 35 years, right? Since Robert Alomar went away, I think he's the best. He's usurped Chase Utley as probably the best second baseman of this generation. What do you think?
Yeah, Altuve's a stud. He's
Yeah.
going to...
He's the
He
first
may
Hall
walk
of
into the
Fame.
Hall of Fame, but, you know,
Monte,
the
he's got-
cheating scandal is going to be...
He's got 200 home
Yeah.
runs, 300 stolen bases.
He may
He's
get to
already got
3,000 hits.
He's already got 2,000.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
he's a 320 hitter or whatever.
Yep.
Like he's ridiculous. He's an all-time. He's a Gold Glover, all-time legend. Bregman's an MVP candidate year
Yep.
in, year out. So
Yep.
what I'm going at is that team's homegrown. I look at the Phillies. They signed Schwarber. They signed Castellanos. They signed Bryce Harper. They traded for JT Realmuto. That team, for the most part, was acquired. I mean, that was a Dombrowski special where he went out and spent a ton of money and depleted their farm to trade for certain players. Right? Now, they've sprinkled in their own homegrown as well. I believe Aaron Nola was a
Right.
homegrown guy,
Yep.
as an example.
Yep.
So, there's no one way to do it, but I feel like the Giants are going to try to blend this where they're going to bring up their own and they want to bring in some high-priced free agents. And I see now that Bryce Harper, it feels like it's a great deal right now for the Phillies. He's given them some great years.
MVP, home runs, a home run that lead him to the World Series. Bryce Harper, there's no doubt he's one of the best players in the game. It's a great deal for Philadelphia and that ballpark.
So I'm not
And that
afraid
ballpark.
to sign Judge
Yeah.
because of a deal like that.
But 30, he is 30 now, right?
Harper's 30 now.
Harper wasn't 30 then.
No, he was 27 or 28.
So I wouldn't, it's got to be a 7 to 8 year deal for Judge. Man, that's a lot.
Well, and here's the
That's a
thing.
lot. Can I get away with giving him 5 for $200 million?
I mean, and you know there's going to be opt-outs. So if
Yeah.
you give him a 7-year deal, you'll probably have an opt-out after
After
4 or
3.
5. Or,
Yeah, I
even
can see that.
the Nolan Arenado deal, like it was a 10-year deal, but after 5 you had to opt.
Will Arenado opt out?
Well, he already is going to come back to the Cardinals.
Oh, they already
that
said
was
it.
announced a week ago or so.
Oh, was it? I missed that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
damn.
Yeah, he
I
already
missed that
opted
one.
back in.
I missed that one. 650 Xfinity Mobile
Yeah.
text line wants to go after Judge and Rizzo. I don't know what you're doing with the Giants. Look, this is a very important offseason because you are losing fans. You are losing butts in the seats. I know Larry Bear is itching to get a star player here. Itching.
See, you
That's why
got to start somewhere.
I guarantee you, Larry Bear. Well, I'm not going to guarantee it. But if Farhan Zaidi walked up to Larry Bear and said, "Hey, look, man, we can get Shohei, but we have to give up Harrison. We have to give up Matos. We have to give up Luciano." If I told you right now, if you had to give up those 3 prospects, but you ended up with Shohei and Judge, would you do it?
Shohei and Judge?
Signing Judge and then you go get Shohei.
I would probably end up doing it, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not giving, and I know that's what the article said. There was an Athletic article,
Right.
if you're just joining us now, that referenced 9 teams that could trade for Shohei. And the offer that they had for the Giants was Harrison, the top lefty prospect in all of baseball, Luciano, and Matos. So those are 3 of everybody's top 4 prospects in the Giants system, no matter what ranking system you go to. I feel like that's 1 prospect too many, but then I also feel like I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, look, 650 Xfinity Mobile text line, F them picks, F them prospects. Another 650, I want Trey Turner, stud, plus take him from the Dodgers.
See, I want Turner too.
See, I love Trey Turner. If I knew Shohei can be half for those 3 prospects.
But do you know also that he's re-signing with you?
If you bring Judge, I got a better possibility of doing it. I got a better possibility of bringing Shohei in.
I mean,
and I get a top flight pitcher.
I mean, you want to talk
I'm
about
willing to
selling downtown?
I'm willing to take that chance for 1 year. I'm willing to take that chance.
I hate.
And then if you and that proves to Shohei,
Yeah.
hey, I'm trying to win. All he wants to do is be in a situation where they're winning.
I mean, I look at someone like Julio Rodriguez right now, and it's like, if I told the Mariner fans, and again, Julio is the top end of what you want a prospect to be. I mean, he's generational. People are already using the HOF words with him, and I'm like, dude, he's played 1 full season, and I love what I'm seeing thus far. But like, you're thinking like Julio Rodriguez, and I don't think Luciano's on that level, but like, That's what we've been waiting for, B. I've been waiting for someone like that for so long. We waited 3-4 years, it feels like.
Yeah.
And we're right on the cusp of seeing this guy. And if you just wait 1 year, you might be able to get Shohei Ohtani in free agency. And it's a gamble. But
It's a gamble.
all three of my guys. And Harrison, like part of why you're letting Rodon go in free agency, the thought process is Harrison replaces him as a controllable
Right.
asset lefty who is dominant.
I hear you. But if I told you you're getting Shohei and Aaron Judge, and I told Giants fans, hey, Giants fans, you're going to trade Harrison, Luciano, Matos to these prospects, but you're getting Aaron Judge this offseason and Shohei Ohtani. And then Carlos Rondon may say, hold up a minute. I want back in.
So we're spending $1 billion this offseason?
Hey, man, I'm not checking the pockets. I'm not checking the pockets. I'm not. Oscar the EPA, we're still waiting for Christian Arroyo and Gary Brown. Look,
I mean,
prospects
Vontae-
are prospects. I need major league proven talent. And it's go time. It's go time. I'm competing with the Dodgers. I'm competing with the Padres, who are going to get Fernando Tatis Jr. back this year. He's coming back.
But philosophically, if you want to compete year in, year out, it's not about landing a guy in year one
No doubt.
or whatever. It's about having a
Sustainability.
replenishable talent level coming through the pipeline constantly. And so if you gut that on the front end, that just feels short-sighted. And I'm not saying that, like, everyone wants Shohei. I have,
Right.
like, the minority opinion. Of course, everybody would trade a bunch of people
No
they
doubt.
have no emotional attachment to. All I'm saying is that why trade all of that when you can just wait a year? I look at what the New York Knicks did with Gallinari and all those guys that they traded for Carmelo.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask them now, man, if you'd have just waited a year,
Mm-hmm.
what was it worth it to gut your entire team? And like Melo, I don't know. I see your point of it, and I know I have the minority opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being realistic. I wouldn't do that deal. Two or
doubt.
three, two of them, yes. Not all three of my top prospects.
Yeah, I don't know. Man. Cy Young Award winner, MVP, Judge, prospects.
Oh, you'd be sexy.
Oh, I'm
but
doing
then,
that
Bonte,
right away.
that's why the Angels have been losing the last handful of years.
But they also don't know how to develop anything.
Well, who says the Giants do?
Well, Farhan, that's his specialty, right? That's why I brought Farhan in.
but that's-
he quote unquote built the Dodgers, right? He quote unquote developed talent. Gonsolin, Bellinger. Who else was it? Who else did he? Chris Taylor. There's a couple guys in
Chris
there.
Taylor's a utility guy.
He's okay.
I mean, he's a solid
all right.
player, but like
he's all right.
And Justin Turner's obviously one of the guys. Max
all right.
Muncy, he found those guys. But I mean, the way you build up your system is you can't trade. Like, imagine if the Houston Astros just traded away Altuve.
No, they didn't do that.
And I'm not
They
saying
kept
that
him.
that's who Luciano's going to end up being, but like
Right.
that changes the trajectory of that organization.
Dude, I'm telling you, you get Judge and Shohei. All of a sudden, you're in line for every single free agent. All of a sudden, pitchers are like, you know what? I want to pitch behind that lineup.
Probably.
That lineup right there. Now I got power. Now I could go down to San Diego and say, okay, I'll meet your Machado. I'll meet your Juan Soto. I'll meet your Fernando Tatis Jr. And who knows if Juan Soto's going to sign a long-term deal with San Diego?
Yeah, no idea.
No idea.
We
Is
haven't
it
heard
a free
anything.
agent after this year?
I think he
Or is
has
it 2 years?
He has 2 full years.
2
of
full
control.
years? Okay,
So
all
he'll
right.
be ARB this year and then
Right.
ARB next year, if I'm not mistaken.
So who knows? Who knows? I think that's a tough deal to pass up, especially with the pressure of the fan base.
there's no doubt.
Saying we need star power.
Well, and it's this particular type of player, Shohei Ohtani, who you know is going to resonate. Look, the Asian American community in the Bay Area is probably larger than what every other big market. I mean, I know LA's
outside
got
of New York, and LA, like because New York's got like
Yeah,
what,
I forgot about that, yeah.
but like. Think about it. We've been talking about Ichiro.
I
Man,
know.
what if Ichiro ever became? What about Yao Ming? If he ever became a Warrior? How many jerseys?
I know.
How many hot
I mean,
dogs? How
people
many
were mad at
tickets?
Jeremy Lin.
Dude, exactly. So you get Shohei down here, Shohei Day. It's packed. It's packed. Not only that, every other day
Shohei
you
Day
got Aaron
would be
Judge batting.
ridiculous.
People want to go to batting practice
give
all the
you that.
time. Big name players. This fan base is salivating over that.
Bonte, if they go from whatever we're talking about here, Shohei and Aaron Judge, and we pivot to, we're bringing back Longo, and we're going to sign Belt to a 1-year deal, and we don't get any big time movement, it's going to be really disappointing.
You don't think Larry Bear is pressuring Farhan? I saw Larry Bear at the JP Morgan Club.
He was at a Warrior game.
At a Warrior game. and he's been at a few Warrior games, even in the playoffs.
Okay.
And he's sitting there. Yeah, I'm name dropping. He's sitting there, but I watch him, though. I like to see the other guys, like the Jet Yorks and stuff, when they go to these arenas, or if Lakeland is at a Niner game. I like to see how they're looking at things. The way Larry Bear was looking at the pregame warm-ups for the Golden State Warriors with that music playing, and the party that it was, like, oh, JK, oh, yeah, Moody, oh, it's a pool party. Oh, then you got Steph and Clay, you got all these guys. Larry Bear's eyes were so big. And he's like, damn, I missed this. All the paparazzi, all the cameras flashing. You haven't had that at Oracle Park in a while.
I know.
Even when they're 107 wins, it was like, okay, 107 wins, but...
Hey, Durant is... So, like, if we were going free agents to come to the Bay Area, Durant all-time number one?
All time.
Over Bonds?
Ooh.
Because I think it's Bonds. Even though he didn't deliver the championships like KD.
Well, I wonder.
I think
Bonds,
it's the greatest free agent signing of all time.
Bonds is there. It's
think about the trickle down effect. You stay in the Bay Area, you build a ballpark. He chases records. Generations of Giants fans. That's their favorite player.
I guess. Barry Bonds is right there. Kevin Durant was special.
So where would Judge be?
Judge be top 5. Well, you got Deion Sanders.
It's a 1-year deal.
It's a 1-year deal.
I know.
It's
It was
a 1-year
amazing.
deal, but it got you a Super Bowl.
I know.
It's the
I
last
don't
Super Bowl
dismiss
we've
that.
seen that.
I know.
DPOY. I mean, it's the greatest 1-year deal possibly in sports history.
It's certainly not Melanson, Zito, and Benitez.
No,
we
it's
agree
not
there.
even close.
All right,
it's not even close.
But where I'm going with this is that if you did land Judge, even if it's like a little underwhelming, this team needs a kickstart so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. Like, this would be one of those guys. Every single kid, Christmas morning, would have a 99 Giants jersey.
And a Shohei Ohtani jersey if you made the move. Now, 408 also asked, Xfinity mobile text line, what's the possibility of getting Trout from the Angels? That's another one.
Now, that changes the equation. Because he signed for I think 7 more years,
Yeah,
6
he's
more
got a
years.
big-time deal.
I would give you my top 4 or 5 prospects.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that flipped quick.
Yeah. That's
That
different because
flipped
he's
quick.
under team control.
That flipped quick.
And you're looking at a guy who's going to chase home run records
No.
as he ages. You're looking at a guy who is a Hall of Famer.
Now, you would have a dilemma here. Judge and Trout, both are probably going to be DHs at some point in their careers.
Trout can play right field.
All right.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
I think Judge in left field, our left field is not that spacious.
No, it's not.
Did you watch Jock Peterson?
Yeah, no.
So
yeah,
that's
no.
the beauty of Aaron Judge. One thing
He can play center, too.
Yeah, but he's a corner
He's
outfielder.
a corner outfielder,
to
but
me-
the fact that he can play center is pretty cool.
Well, and then the question becomes at 6'8", can you learn to play first if we needed you
Yeah.
to? But I was watching about Aaron Judge. Part of why he kept hurting himself, he was overtraining.
Mm-hmm.
So he would go during games, and when he'd have a bad at bat, he'd go into the clubhouse and he'd be ripping a bunch of balls off the tee and off soft toss and stuff. And he learned that he has to rest his body more. And since then, just like a game changer for him physically. And so it sounds like to me he's gotten to the point in his career, and you saw Steph Curry do this, where he has completely controlled his body, and that has enabled him to do things on a consistent level that he far couldn't achieve beforehand.
No doubt about that. No doubt. But the Giants do need an impact player. We know that. So free agency starting. I believe Dibbs and Lillard may be on assignment Thursday. We'll have more details about that later in the week.